Have you ever had this thought? I was really good to them, but all that came back were wounds. Why do I always give and give, yet receive nothing in return? Does sincerity not work in human relationships? We think that being good to someone is the beginning of a good relationship. But sometimes the kinder we are, the more the other person takes us for granted or tries to use us. Why on earth does this happen? Today, let's talk about why we shouldn't carelessly be kind to everyone we meet and the methods of creating relationships where others value us when we treat them this way. I hope today's discussion helps make your relationships wiser. Be friar. First, protect your own emotions. Don't easily reveal all your emotions to just anyone. We often think that being honest is a good thing. Of course, honesty is an important value, but revealing all emotions without filter in every situation doesn't always bring positive results, especially in human relationships. Effectively controlling and expressing your emotions is important, because your emotions are your most important asset. People with high self-esteem understand and control their emotions well. They aren't easily swayed by others' emotions, and they know how to express their feelings honestly, while also considering the other person. Conversely, people with low self-esteem either hide their emotions or express them, excessively making relationships difficult. Especially, we tend to easily reveal our negative emotions or weaknesses out of a desire to look good to others. At first, the other person might empathize with our honesty, but over time, they may use our weaknesses or see us as emotionally dependent people. This is like how frequently given favors become seen as rights. Your emotional vulnerability can dangerously become a weapon for the other person. When you go through difficult times, there will be moments when you want to confide in a friend and receive comfort. Of course, a true friend will listen to your story and empathize, but you don't need to tell everyone about all your difficulties. If you reveal your weaknesses or vulnerable sides too easily, some people might use that to manipulate you or diminish your self-esteem. This situation is like showing all your cards while playing a game. You'll eventually find yourself in a disadvantageous position. Think about it. If you pour out complaints and dissatisfaction to every person you meet, how will others remember you? People who empathized at first will eventually avoid you. Your emotions are your precious energy. Don't waste this energy carelessly. Controlling and managing your emotions is the first step in valuing yourself. Protecting your emotions is the most basic act of self-preservation, and it becomes an important factor in raising your value in relationships with others. Rather than pouring out emotions indiscriminately, the wisdom to handle them strategically and carefully is needed. So what should you do? First, think one more time before expressing emotions. What benefit will telling this emotion to this person right now bring me? Could there be negative consequences from saying this? Ask yourself these questions. The purpose isn't simply to express emotions, but to clarify your intentions and purpose and think about how to convey emotions. Second, convey only the essentials rather than revealing all emotions. Provide only as much information as the other person needs to understand your emotions. For example, rather than directly saying, "I'm so angry right now," it might be much more effective to express indirectly, "This situation seems to be making things a bit difficult for me." This expression respects your emotions, while not burdening the other person. A wise method. Third, practice managing your own emotions. Through meditation, exercise, hobbies, etc., it's important to consistently practice viewing and managing your emotions objectively. Emotion regulation ability isn't innate, but a skill that must be continuously trained. Respecting and protecting your emotions is respecting yourself. It's wise to distance yourself from people who treat your emotions carelessly. People who value themselves don't easily show their emotions. Become the master of your emotions and make your relationships stronger. When you can control and manage emotions, only then can you have a solid inner self that doesn't waver. And this becomes a powerful asset that earns respect from others. Second, don't waste your time and energy. Your time and energy are limited. People who value these don't easily comply with others' sudden requests. Many people invest their time and energy generously to increase intimacy. When someone asks, they can't refuse, and they'll meet people or help them even while postponing their own schedules. Such actions can sometimes help form relationships, but in the long term, they can lead to burnout and send the wrong signals to others. You must not overlook that this can lead to lowering your own value, but these actions don't always bring good results. Rather, they can give the impression that your time and energy are cheap. When we give excessively, others come to accept that giving not as special favor but as something natural. This situation, like the saying, when favors continue, they're mistaken for rights, contains the danger that your kindness can lead to others' rudeness. We often give excessively thinking, if not me, who will help this person. But if you always accommodate others while sacrificing your own things, they'll come to take your consideration for granted. Furthermore, if you refuse even once, situations can arise where they actually feel hurt or get angry. This creates the paradoxical situation where your kindness becomes poison to the relationship. Your dedication can foster the other person's dependency and ultimately result in depleting your energy. Let me give an example. A friend suddenly contacts you to meet in the evening. You already have other important appointments, or you're dying to go home and rest. But worried that refusing the friend's request will distance the relationship, you eventually cancel your appointment and go meet the friend. What happens if this situation repeats? The friend will come to think you're someone who can always make time for them. Your precious time and energy will increasingly be undervalued, and you'll find yourself constantly tired and exhausted. Eventually, even in relationships with precious friends, you may face the tragic result of not feeling true satisfaction or happiness. You must be wary of your kindness transforming into a self-destructive form. People with high self-esteem know precisely the value of their time and energy. They establish their priorities clearly and know how to firmly refuse unnecessary requests. Of course, in relationships with close people, they can willingly share time and energy, but this comes from voluntary choice, not from a sense of duty or burden. Only giving willingly within clearly recognized limits can be called true consideration. Valuing your time and energy is valuing yourself. Through this, you can also let others know your value. When you respect your own value, others will also recognize your value. So what should you do? First, clarify your priorities. Establish for yourself what's important to you and what you need to do most right now. Then allocate your time and energy according to those priorities. This is an essential process for leading your life proactively. Second, practice refusing. Refusing will be difficult at first, but you must consistently practice refusing in a firm yet gentle tone. Practice saying honestly, "I'm sorry, but I have other plans right now, so it'll be difficult," or "This is something I'll have difficulty helping with." What's important is clearly conveying your position to the other person, while not losing an attitude that respects their feelings. Third, build relationships with people who respect your time and energy. It's important to associate with people who recognize your value and understand your situation. Boldly distancing yourself from people who treat your time and energy carelessly will enrich your life. People who value themselves don't carelessly waste their time and energy. Use your precious resources wisely to create richer relationships. When you respect and care for yourself, only then do you gain the qualification to be truly respected by others. Third, don't easily reveal your charm and value. Creating curiosity is the core of relationships. People don't place great value on things easily obtained. Whether in romance or friendship, if you show the other person everything about you all at once, they'll no longer be curious about you. Curiosity is a powerful tool that amplifies attraction. Honestly, showing all your strengths, talents, and even weaknesses from the start can actually have the opposite effect. Like a movie released too quickly loses audience interest. People will feel greater curiosity about your veiled aspects and will make efforts to get to know you. This isn't simply a technique to manipulate others, but wisdom that comes from understanding the essential part of human psychology. Humans have instinctive curiosity about the unknown. Let me give an example. When meeting new people, some people lay out all their experiences and knowledge as if boasting, "I've done this, I've been to that place, I'm good at this." Your abilities might certainly be excellent, but what emotions does the other person feel while listening to your story? They might be interested at first, but they may soon think you're either very conceited or trying to reveal yourself too much. This can diminish your true charm and leave only a superficial impression about you with the other person. Conversely, people who gradually and naturally reveal their charm and value leave greater resonance and curiosity with others. Like a well-crafted drama that makes you anticipate the next episode. People with high self-esteem don't try to show off. Because they know their own value, they don't struggle to gain others' recognition. Rather, they show their charm at appropriate moments and induce the other person to approach them. This is different from push-pull techniques. This is truly valuing yourself and giving the other person the opportunity to discover your value on their own. Your true value will shine even brighter through the process of the other person discovering and exploring it. English version script, part 22. So what should you do? First, don't tell everything. Rather than pouring out all your experiences at once during conversation, talk in a way that gradually unfolds answers when the other person asks questions. Rather than showing all your hidden talents or charms at once, reveal them naturally at appropriate moments. This is like a well-ripened fruit naturally emitting sweet fragrance when its time comes. Second, focus more on the other person's story rather than talking about yourself. Listening to the other person, empathizing, and asking questions not only makes the other person feel more comfortable with you, but can also show your thoughtful and considerate attitude. When you show genuine interest in the other person, they'll feel special charm from you. Third, have time alone. Rather than always trying to be with the other person, show that you respect your own space and time. This gives the impression that you're an independent and autonomous person and can trigger longing and curiosity about your presence in the other person. When you have your own world, others become curious about that world. Your charm doesn't depend on how much you have, but on how much you value yourself. Don't show your value too easily. Curiosity about you will raise your value even higher. Prize fourth. Always think of yourself as the top priority. This isn't being selfish, it's an expression of self-love. We often learn that considering others is a virtue, but if that consideration goes too far and you end up sacrificing yourself, it's no longer a virtue. Thinking of yourself as top priority isn't selfish, but an expression of healthy self-esteem and an important element that makes relationships sustainable. When an emergency occurs on an airplane, the oxygen mask should be worn by parents first before putting it on children, because you must survive first to help others. Human relationships are the same. Only when you're happy and healthy first can you have a positive influence on others. This is an essential process of charging and maintaining your own energy, and only then can you have the capacity to truly help others. Many people suppress their own desires and emotions to be loved and recognized by others, trying to please them. They fall into the illusion that if they do what the other person wants, that person will like them, often losing their true selves. But relationships gained this way cannot be called true relationships. They'll ultimately leave you only with wounds and emptiness. Rather, relationships gained with a created appearance, rather than your true self, can bring even greater sense of alienation and pain over time. True relationships begin with loving and respecting your authentic self. For example, you really want to rest on the weekend and have time alone, but a friend suddenly requests a date or pressures you to come to a gathering. You reluctantly cancel your plans and accommodate the friend. If the situation repeats, you'll gradually become exhausted, and you won't feel true joy in the relationship with your friend. Your precious weekend becomes another obligation rather than recovery time, and eventually dissatisfaction and irritation with the friend's relationship can accumulate. People with high self-esteem respect their own desires and emotions. They think of caring for themselves as top priority, clearly know their limits, and don't act beyond them. They believe they can love others as much as they love themselves. The act of caring for your own heart and body isn't selfish, but a necessary investment in creating a better you. When you're healthy and happy, you can transmit positive energy to the people around you. So what should you do? First, be honest about your desires and emotions. Question and answer yourself about what you want and what you dislike, and respect that answer. Listening to your inner voice is the beginning of self-love. Second, don't be afraid to say no. Firmly refuse requests that violate your desires. Refusal becomes a powerful message that you respect yourself. It may be uncomfortable at first, but in the long term, it's an important process of clarifying your boundaries and making the other person recognize your value. Third, consistently have time for yourself. Consistently make time to care for yourself, whether doing hobbies you like, getting enough rest, or giving yourself gifts. Only when you're happy can the people around you be happy too. Self-care and self-development are never luxuries, but essential elements for better relationships in life. Valuing and loving yourself is the first step in creating truly healthy and beautiful relationships. Think of yourself as top priority and protect your happiness. When you first love yourself, the world will finally learn how to love you. En conclusion, if you treat people while keeping these 4 principles, you'll no longer get hurt and will be able to create relationships with people who value you. Don't easily reveal all your emotions to just anyone. Your emotions are your precious asset. Protecting your emotional boundaries becomes an important defense that protects your inner self and prevents unnecessary emotional consumption. Don't waste your time and energy. Your value determines how precious you are, Your time and energy are limited resources, so you must allocate them wisely and use them according to your priorities. Don't easily reveal your charm and value. Curiosity is a powerful engine of relationships. Rather than showing everything at once, induce the other person to feel greater interest and respect through the process of getting to know you. And above all, always think of yourself as top priority. Loving yourself is the beginning of all relationships. When you love and respect yourself, only then can you receive true love and respect from others. All of this doesn't mean you should become a selfish person. It means you should become a person who values themselves. People who value themselves are valued by others. When you acknowledge and respect your own value, others will also recognize that value. No longer waver at others' gazes or evaluations. Become the master of your life and create the happy relationships you desire. Only you can determine your value. I hope today's discussion greatly helps your relationships. Thank you.